Hello, this is the Monday Agenda with me, Finn Ganwa Simbeye. Today on the program we have a very special guest. She's Dr. Rasha Kelej, CEO of Merck Foundation, an institution that is working on improving the health system of developing countries, in this case, Africa and Tanzania, in our case, will be, is already benefiting from Merck Foundation. Dr. Kelej,
Great
welcome.
to see you. Thank you very much for having me.
Good.
You know, Merck Foundation is a non-for-profit organization, and it's the first foundation owned by Merck, Germany. It's the oldest pharmaceutical and chemical company in the world.
Largest in the world.
Yeah. So it's the oldest.
Yeah.
So established 350 years ago, which 2018, this year, we are celebrating actually the 350 years anniversary of Merck.
350.
So it is fantastic, and it's a very unique year for us. And you know, through all these generations, Merck taking CSR, corporate social responsibility, and being part of the community as part of their DNA. Having the foundation is not a new thing. It's actually all the programs about corporate social responsibility were there for generations. Okay, but we decided to establish the foundation to consolidate all the programs and activities we are doing since years under one umbrella.
This foundation is looking at the whole world. You are operating in all countries.
Developing countries. We're focusing mostly, of course, in developing countries. Countries who has communities unprivileged and have no proper access to information and healthcare. So it's our role, of course, to contribute to development, socially and economic development of these countries. Definitely.
And is it limited to countries where Merck has businesses, or you going just to any other countries in need?
We go in countries in need, definitely, and there is too many countries we still don't have any existence as commercial entity, and we see that our role to contribute to their needs and requests. So, for example, if I receive any request from any country in the world that they need us to help and contribute with our expertise and our programs, I don't think twice. We don't think twice. The Board of Trustees, they always approve any contribution towards these countries because this is the main objective of establishing the foundation.
If the country wants to be assisted, they have to approach you.
If we find the right, smart partners who is very serious and long-term relationship, we approach them ourselves. If not, we of course receive requests, and when you receive requests, definitely we evaluate and see how can we do it and what part of partnerships we can establish. But the key is a long-term, serious and committed partnerships, local partnerships.
And what does it involve? I've seen out of the literature which I have that you're looking at various areas in the health sector.
I see that a lot of global efforts going to the infectious disease and communicable disease. So we said that this is an area, there is a gap, especially as a burden of this communicable disease, for example, like cancer and diabetes and hypertension, is increasing dramatically. So I think prevention has a very important role, and also building capacity. So building capacity for us, we strongly believe that building capacity is the right strategy to improve access to quality and equitable healthcare solutions. Because with training all these doctors and the healthcare providers, what they're going to do, they will be able to be ambassadors in their communities to better manage and prevent the diseases, and this is what we want. Of course, we decided to, in cancer specifically, it's a very important disease, and we developed a very unique fellowship programs for 1 year and 2 years and 3 years in 3 locations of training institutions: Tata Memorial Hospital in India, and also in University of Alexandria in Egypt, and we are going to expand to University of Cairo as well. And we have also University of Nairobi. We developed the first medical oncology fellowship programs, 2 years in University of Nairobi. And we are going to, we just signed a partnership MOU with University of Malaya in Malaysia So we're going to send fellows there for oncology training, our fellowship for 1 year. So this is a really great program. I feel that it will add great value to Africa because we committed to have to increase the number of limited oncologists in the continent. Till now we have 50 oncologists. Going to in the whole continent. In 2017 they will be graduated in 2018.
The ones you are
they are now,
Okay.
So of course I don't think I don't know the number of oncologists in Africa, but it will not be more than this. Maybe, if you exclude the radiologist, and we are talking about the only sub-Saharan African countries, because what we are doing is medical oncologists. Yes, which is very important.
Why? And okay, in Tanzania, who are your partners now? You're working with
government, of course, the government of Tanzania and Ministry of Health. I came last year, end of the last year. I met Her Excellency, the Vice President of Tanzania, Dr. Samia, and she was great support. And we are going to continue our partnerships and our talks. Of course, now we have something to talk about because the program's always been started in Tanzania, either the hypertension and diabetes and oncology. Merck More Than a Mother will start soon, which we did not talk about it. It is a campaign for infertility. So I think we are in the start, but it's a long-term relationship. So we are not going to say everything in 1 year. It will take years, and we will be here in Tanzania for years to come. For me, Tanzania is the first country to visit in 2018.
And last year you came also in July, after being appointed
yes,
CEO.
in July, exactly.
Why have you fallen in love with Tanzania?
You know, Tanzania is a very important, definitely country in Africa, and very close to all our hearts, and it's a unique culture. And I feel the government is very serious in making a development and making a real impact and progress. And this is how I evaluate the efforts. When I see the government is really serious and they are going to take our efforts seriously and forward and improve it. So of course we focus more.
These is the foundation's their activities. Are they also going to include medication?
Merck Foundation is completely separate than Merck Commercial, and we don't even talk about the commercial and what the commercial entity is doing. It's completely operated in a different way. I have a different CEO. Like me, I don't have any idea about what the business is doing. So medication, we don't know about it, and we don't involve it in our programs. Our programs purely non-for-profit and focusing on capacity building, improving access to health care, and empowering women and youth in science and technology.
And in the area of training, so it's just oncologists or other areas also?
No, there is diabetes and hypertension as well, because already we have candidates, we give them 1 year diploma, online diploma for diabetes and hypertension. And of course there is fertility. As I told you, Merck More Than a Mother is a campaign, very important campaign for us, and it's about empowering women, infertile women, through access to health information and change of mindset, because women in Tanzania, in Africa in general, in many cultures, they are mistreated and discriminated due to their infertility. And of course, if you know certain numbers, you will understand that building capacity and raising awareness is very important, because 80%, almost 85% of the causes of infertility due to untreated infectious diseases, which is resulting from complication due to child marriage, genital mutation, STDs, or unsafe abortion, unsafe delivery. All these behaviors we are advocating against every year. It can cause complication of infectious diseases, which is not treated in the right time and early enough can cause infertility. So prevention is very important. So we are raising awareness about prevention. But how can we reach to all these villages and rural areas? We need to train doctors. So we actually opened the training for 3 months for infertility specialists and embryology specialists and embryologists, which is actually in Tanzania we have now 6 candidates we trained, and we're still going to train more.
Where are they trained?
In India. And secondly, we want to encourage men to speak openly about if there is any problem of infertility, to share the journey with their wives, to go to the doctor with their wives, because they have to understand the responsibility of infertility is 50% for men, 50% for women. So women are not the one who is solely responsible for infertility. Men also has a role in this, and 50% scientifically. So it's a cultural problem, because they know that the woman is the one who is bearing the child in her body. So you think that she is the only one responsible for infertility? No, of course not. It takes two to tango, and it is two of the responsibility. So when the woman cannot have children for 2-3 years, what happened? Abuse her and violence psychologically, and marriage breakup. There's no need for this, because it's a condition can be treated, and it is a journey between the man and woman, and both of them, they have to go to the doctor to have a happy family. Yes. So
when I was looking at this, I was like, doctor is trying to go into some kind of very controversial waters, because here we have the government and some international organizations saying, you guys in Tanzania, your reproduction is very high.
yes.
And you can't fight poverty when your reproduction is high and your growth, especially in agriculture, which employs the majority of the people, is low. So we've got to fight this reproduction rate.
It is different because we are talking about family planning here. So families who has 12 and 10 children, they should have only 2 or 3 maximum. But the people who has no children at all, it's a human right for them to have at least 1. So the incidence of infertility is too high. Although the infertility rate is very high in Tanzania, as you said, population overpopulated. But 1 every 4 couples are infertile in Africa, according to the WHO. So this is a very high number, and these people are suffering psychologically and public stigma. We need to change that culture, and we need to give them their human rights. They have to have the place to go to be able to have at least 1 child.
In this respect, what exactly will the intervention be? Are you going to work with the ministry and the medical doctors to go out, as you have said, in the village and educate people that, even men can be infertile?
It's not only this. There's social media, there's media. That's why I have the interview with you. When someone has a problem having a child, it doesn't affect him as a person or a human being. It's still, that's why we say more than a mother, because we want to say women are more than just mothers. They are human beings, they are women, they can be productive members in society. So I rely very much on the media and the youth in the social media. But our social media, we have 1 million followers, all young African. So I really feel that the future will be completely different story. But let us talk about the present at the moment, and this is the role of the media and us. Writing articles, speaking about it more. You know, like what happened in HIV in the beginning? It was a stigma, nobody wanted to talk about it. But now it's different, the same way. Same way.
How do you select, or how do you pick people? Medical doctors, or at what level?
Yes, they have to be gynecologists, definitely, and they've been recommended by either the Fertility Society of Africa, or by the Ministry of Health, or by the university. So after the recommendation, we give them to the scientific committee of the institution. We're going to train them to see if they are eligible, and if they are eligible, they just contact them, and we provide the training and everything.
And what is the future of because really capacity is an area where we have a lot of big weakness.
Yes.
And training medical doctors is very expensive. Yes. And currently you are taking them abroad. What are plans to have, maybe train them so that there can be many of them locally at the University of Dar es Salaam?
We created the first oncology fellowship program in Nairobi, and University of Nairobi. So it can be here as a center at the moment for oncology. And for the diabetes and hypertension, we do it online. It's a 1 year online in South Wales University in UK. So every graduate will have a diploma accredited by UK. which is very good. And there is a lot of now digitalization in education, which is to overcome, the geographic barriers and traveling. And so step by step for fertility, we cannot do it at the moment because fertility still, there is a lot of countries they don't have even one fertility specialist or embryologist. So it's not like we have many now and we will establish a center. So at the moment we chose to have the center in Indonesia, one center in Indonesia, one center in India, and one center in Malaysia, which is Asia, South-South collaboration. And in the future, we will think about having an IVF or fertility training center in Africa.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
I've seen that out of the literature I got, there is also the issue of empowering women.
Yes.
To generate their own income, because that's another big weakness.
Yes.
And what are you
infertile women specifically?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
because when we see the infertile women, they have no purpose in life except having children, and they don't. When they lose this purpose, they have no other purpose in life. So, and they accept all the insult, and they won't just wait to die. And it's not correct. So they share their stories with us through the media and the videos. So people feel upset and and they want to change. But these women, mostly, they are too late for them to get treated because either they're too old or biologically are not ready because the infections since long time manifested in their body and the whole reproductive system gone. So we said we cannot just leave them alone like this. It's not ethical. So we group them in groups and we start to build for them training and profession like a small business. For example, some of them we had catering, so they cook in restaurant, and some of them has chicken farms, so they can make eggs and chicken and and sell chicken frozen and stuff. And some of them like cows, they can have cheese, and you can make cheese and milk, and so different, and sewing like dresses and fashion and stuff. So we create for them things, businesses according to what they like and what they feel that they can do, and build on their skills. On our social media, Merck More Than a Mother video, Facebook and website, it's very easy. You can find all the stories of the transformation of women and type of businesses we established for them. It's really enlightening because you can see the women transform from very depressed, sad, want to die woman to a very strong, even the way she talks and walk and and generate business is different.
So in Tanzania, how many are being involved in this exercise?
We just started, as I told you, in end of last year.
Yeah,
I think we had how many women at the moment we recruited? A few women at the moment, but we are going to have more. The videos will be ready soon and it will be on the social media. As I told you, it depends on the partners as well, because usually in many countries I partner with the First Lady Foundation in each country. For example, Niger, Chad, Central African Republic, Guinea, Gambia, all these First Lady, and Nigeria, First Lady of Nigeria, Sierra Leone, First Lady of Sierra Leone. All these First Ladies, they identify the women, infertile women, and we cooperate with them to establish the training and for these women. So until we find someone who identifies these women for us, we will be able to. So if any organization know a number of infertile women are suffering in Tanzania, please to contact us in our website www.merck-foundation.com.
We have a hospital which has been trying to treat women who are fistula. It's also a big problem, fistula.
Yes. Fistula also causes infertility in the future,
They have managed to treat many of them. I think many of them are suffering just the way like those who are infertile women.
By the way, I have also a program about fistula. I will start in 2018.
How many countries now are being involved?
25.
Up to now?
In Africa, yes.
Sub-Saharan?
Yes, Sub-Saharan, yes.
And what does all of them you discovered them yourselves? Because
no, through partners as well. Through partners, like for example, when I have a TV interview like this, or I meet the scientific committee of the different countries, because we have a representative in our scientific committee from each country, fertility society. So Benin and Chad and Mali and Malawi, they are representative from each, even Gabon. So they always we start from there mainly. or the first ladies, we approach them as well, and there is some of them are contacting us themselves.
Yeah. And what is now the future, doctor? If you look at 10, 20 years to come, you have
Yes.
said you want
I
a
want
long
in the future
relationship.
10 years to come.
10, 20
I
years.
want when someone say infertile, it's not a stigma or it's not a taboo.
Yeah.
It's infertile, like you have a cold, like you say diabetes, it's no problem, yeah? So infertility also, I wanted to have no problem about it. There is some women contacted me and say, we have to select our words and we don't say that they are infertile women. I said, no, why? Infertility is not a bad thing. It is not even a stigma or a taboo, it's a condition. So they are infertile women and they can say proudly that they are infertile, they get treated, or they just go along with their lives and build a different future for themselves and contribute to the community in a different way. So this is very important. So this is a change of the culture I want. I want every man I see every fertility clinic, the man and the woman, husband and wife together, sitting together, talking and finding solution like we see in Europe. I want this in Africa very soon. I want to have fertility clinic and IVF center in public health sectors in every country. 1, 2, 3, or even in different counties. This is the future. I want to have many students and in the schools, they are treating them how to prevent infertility. They are educating them how to prevent infertility in the schools. So they are ready and we eliminate around 85% of the infertility. If we have worked on the prevention and education for the youth, from now, we can eliminate a very, very high number of infertility. I want one day to be impersed, treating infertility to be impersed, because when it's become less, it can easily be impersed and not burden on the economy. So these all dreams.
Looking at treatment now, how to treat infertile men and women.
Yes.
That's another area which is very challenging in terms of the costs. Are we going to really come to a period when we have
yes, definitely. Look, I mean, in economy science, if something demand more than supply, what happens? Demand more than supply, prices go down. When the supply more than the demand, prices go down. So when we educate more doctors, train more IVF, and there is more IVF centers around in the one country, what's happened? Competition in prices go down, and they are all local. They don't have to travel abroad or bring someone from abroad, so the cost will go down by automatically. Like what happened in many countries. We're not talking about something we are going to experience for the first time. 50 years ago, for example, in the place I live in UAE, that treatment of IVF cycle, it was so high 15 years ago. Now, because there are too many, it's almost 10 lower in the price.
So probably we'll reach through that
definitely.
place.
I will contribute to this through Merck Foundation. Merck Foundation is very, very, very keen to build a great capacity of fertility care in Africa. And I hope that I can be part of this when I'm CEO of Merck Foundation.
And you said this year you also want to introduce fistula. Any other areas you go into?
No, actually this is a new thing. I still thinking about it, but it's very much related to the fertility as well, because there is too many in Africa. The reason they caused the fertility is one of the causes is fistula, and it's too high incidence. So I think it makes sense that we can contribute a little bit in fistula as well as part of the prevention.
And when you met the Vice President last year, what did she have to say to you? Because I'm sure the challenges.
She was very, very, very keen. You can see also our meeting on social media, and she was very, very keen to be part and contribute. And she saw that our objectives and vision is very noble, and she's the ambassador of women empowerment, UN ambassador of women empowerment. Yes, so of course this is very much aligned with her vision as well, and she's done a lot of great things for empowering women, and we also doing a lot of things in empowering women in science and technology, and then empowering women, of course, infertile women through economic empowerment, part of her also vision. So I very much aligned with her own vision, definitely. We chose to be specialized in cancer, diabetes, hypertension, and fertility, four areas. And of course, these are areas very important for Africa.
One of the things which women have been burdened with, as we have said, is many children. There is no family planning, and access to contraceptives has been a problem because funding from the government is not adequate. You discussed that earlier with the Vice President.
No, it's not our area. I told you that we are focusing on the infertility. So it's completely different than the family planning. Yeah. There's a lot of NGOs, and big NGOs are focusing on the family planning, and of course we leave them in their specialty and us with our specialty, knowing that no other foundation on earth actually they have done what we have done in fertility in Africa. So this by focus. When you focus, if you scatter yourself all over the place and spread yourself thin, no impact will happen.
And when you are talking about numbers, what are the numbers now? What numbers are you looking at? Yeah.
I think we aim for more than 150 oncologists within 5 years, and also similar to fertility and embryology specialists. But also it depends on the people and the candidates, because you can just give a number and then you don't have this year candidates are willing to travel to train or is eligible and they have the right specialty. So it depends also on the environment around you, but I think it's achievable.
And the numbers on the side of the women, you have a target also there that we want by the next 5 years, say we're working with maybe 10 or 20,000 women.
Something like this, yes. This is a number. I actually aim more to change the culture in many places and recruit media with us, because this is the media can go to every house and we can impact the change of the culture. So we don't have to say every year we have to increase the number of empowering infertile women, because maybe the infertile women will reduce their numbers. Okay, so they are not going to be needed any help within 5 years. The number of the women who needs help from us will reduce, because they are not going to be suffering and stigmatized, and maybe they are going to prevent their infertility, or they find a way to treat it, or they find someone to husband to take care of them.
From Africa, where do you go next? You just said it here, but
we are going tomorrow to Uganda. Yes, and then after that I will go back and then to Dubai, and then I will go to Ethiopia, because there is First Ladies meetings in African Union. I will meet there to discuss also Merck More Than a Mother and step forwards and strategies end of this month. And then I will go to meet both the First Ladies of Gambia to launch Merck More Than a Mother in Gambia. And I will go to Senegal to start our programs in Senegal, with meeting also the First Lady of Senegal. So this is a program for the whole month.
You come back later in Ethiopia, you'll be talking to these First Ladies?
Yes, we have a meeting with the First Ladies in Ethiopia at the African Union with many topics, and one of the topics us there, but it's not like exclusive for Merck Foundation, but it's a big meeting for many organizations, and I am one of them.
And I've seen that in, that's not for the foundation, I think. In Ethiopia, I've seen you have also doing something very big there in the area of schizophrenia.
Yes. In Ethiopia, no, but in Ethiopia we have a very important meeting with the Minister of Health of Ethiopia. He is the ambassador of Merck More Than a Mother, and he is the first man to be ambassador for Merck More Than a Mother.
Wow.
And he's a great man, and he is a gynecologist by profession before he became a Minister of Health. And he has this dream that to empower infertile women, because he's seen a lot of cases during his practice and a lot of women who are suffering. So he took it very much seriously, and I'm going to meet him when I go to Ethiopia, and with contribution from Merck and from the Ministry of Health, they're going to establish the first public IVF center in Ethiopia.
Good.
And this is great achievement. It's making history actually, making history in Ethiopia. So we made history in many countries. For example, we trained the first also IVF specialist and embryologist in Sierra Leone, the first in Gambia, the first in Guinea, going to be graduated in May, these two countries, and the first in what else, Liberia.
Wow.
So many countries, they never had even one embryologist and fertility specialist just to treat normal cases and small cases. So I think Merck Foundation is making history in Africa. This is, we can say, without, it's a fact. As a fact,
yeah, it's a fact.
we're making history.
In Tanzania,
The first is history, and nobody can take it from you.
No.
Yeah, increase number, you compete on numbers, but the first is the first, and we are making history in Africa.
So in Tanzania, we have IVF experts here.
Trained almost 6, I told you.
You've already trained 6.
6
Okay.
from Tanzania.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So this is great. But they were 2 before we came, so it will not be the first. But we trained 6, and they are actually around Tanzania. There, some of them working in Kilimanjaro, some of them working here in Dar es Salaam, and another area. Yes.
And at some point, we will have IVF clinics in public hospitals.
I think they are seriously talking about it, and we are going to support in the training, and I hope it will open soon. We established also helped in training and establishing the first IVF in Uganda, in public sector in Uganda as well, and it will be in the women hospital. It is with our ambassador, Minister Sarah Obinti. She's the Minister of State of Health of Uganda. She's also a great lady. She took it very serious, and she's going to help establishing this IVF center, which is going to open in May. Yeah. Which is also be the first in Uganda.
For us in the media, it's like probably we will also need a lot of sensitization. A lot of training, because
just to tell you this as well, we are going to launch Media Recognition Award for journalists, so they can send us stories, either print or TV interviews about infertility or infertile women in their country. And this is a part of sensitization of the media. And we will announce the award winners. We launched this last year for Kenya. And actually we were going to announce winners very soon in this quarter of the year, but I want to spread it to all African journalism, and we select the best winner and the award. And I think this is going to be very nice, because when we announce it in Kenya now, many articles and interviews about infertility, because it's an award and sensitization, and and they took it beyond the award, of course, because they grab personal interest when they know about it, and media getting bored with repetitive topics you're talking about. And if you open infertility and talking about infertility, you have life experience, things you never even hear about before in your life. Yeah, so it's a new thing to attract viewers.
You have also a component of trying to train, to give us the basics, journalists to know exactly what is.
I think we can do something online about infertility, and also if you go to our website, you just read the things that you understand completely what is the infertility is, and we are doing it one-to-one at the moment, but I think it's a good idea to have a module specifically for media. I will work with my team on this to educate them about infertility, which is very important for Africa because it's a new thing.
With that, we've come to the end of the program for the day, and we had Merck Foundation CEO, Dr. Rasha Kelej. She's Egyptian, she's an African, and I'm very proud to meet her. Thank you, Dr. Kelej.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.